Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch and history.
Yes, so I have the story on federal government losing money. It's a really sad story about how change of policy, that's the NPA is recording the loss of funds due to the withdrawal of the management of pilotage by Integrated Logistics Services Nigeria Limited, popularly called Intel. They said that the NPA totally has lost about $161 million, not Naira, $161 million. They said there was a sharp drop. Numbers don't lie. In 2014, 2015, NPA was gaining revenue through Intel and other things, $216 million, $209 million. And when they canceled the contract, by 2020, the funding dropped, the revenue dropped to $130 million, and in 2021, $199 million. Like the drop was huge. And I know there were controversies around Intel because the former president and presidential aspirant, former vice president and presidential aspirant has shares there. But he said he had sold his shares within Intel. Also, the NPA does not have the facilities to carry out, they don't have the technology to monitor the operations, so they lose a lot of revenue. But if they were able to reinstate Intel, there will be more revenue coming in. The NPA explained that the agreement was done with the interest of the nation, and also explained that they were giving an update of what NPA is trying to raise revenue, how we can get more money into the country. And they said the agreement would have, Nigeria would have saved $326 million from the agreement it reached on Intel. The contention that happened would have been able to save $326 million. So there's a lot of money lying on the table based on this cancelling the contract. If we reinstate it, we'll make more money. And the NPA that is left to handle the business that Intel was doing do not have the technology or the capacity to do the same job. Money lost that we can make back if we review that.
Moving on quickly now to Daily Sun. Supreme Court Justices NJC Okez Adewale, Nwosu Ihime, Nsemani, and others. Tinubu has approved blueprints to liberate and capture the southeast, says Kanduje. Naira scarcity worsens. Forbes names Okonjo-Iweala Ngozi most powerful woman in Africa. Whoop, whoop, whoop,
yeah,
whoop.
That's amazing.
Akeredolu's health. Court mandates Assembly Speaker to appoint medical panel. Kaduna village bombing death toll hits 127.
So sad.
He visits Kuje Custodial Center, meets Emefiele, secures release of 5 inmates.
I wonder if money was out.
Nigeria thirsty to win the AFCON 2023. Okay, AFCON. Okay, which story?
What a place to be.
Okay, let me start with Akeredolu's story. So the Ondo State High Court sitting in Akure yesterday granted leave to the applicants in a suit seeking a compelling order, that's another of mandamus to compel the House of Assembly and the Speaker to constitute a medical panel to assess the governor's health. And the suit was brought by Olufemi Losin, Isijola, Kike Ologun Ayodeji, and Arogbo Olaniyi. They are calling for this medical panel to provide clarity on the governor's health, having been away from the government for over 6 months, or nearly 6 months.
I think it's a justifiable request.
I totally agree. I agree. I think they shouldn't even have to go and get a mandamus order to do the needful. I think the House should be fully independent of.
There was a tweet by Akeredolu when Yar'Adua was not sick. I mean, former President Buhari was sick.
No,
and out
when
for
former President Yar'Adua was sick, and Jonathan was his vice.
And he put it there that they should let Jonathan take power, and
which is what I remember.
That is
karma. Okay, it's a small world. Naira scarcity, people are feeling the pinch. Strong indications have come out that there is a cash crunch in Nigeria. Apparently, people are lamenting that they cannot access getting funds from the banking hall, which is very similar to what happened earlier in the year. Even though the CBN has come out to say that they are not going to stop the use of the old Naira notes, somehow they said and they had to do that press release over and over again because some people were stockpiling the new Naira notes with the expectation that they will be able to sell them the way they did earlier this year. The Apex Bank has shifted the date. They have said indefinitely you can be using all the notes, yet we still have cash crunch going on. Some are now blaming it on the new policy implementation that will still happen in March, the fact that there will be a compulsory, there'll be no bank will be allowed to no account will be allowed to function without NIN and BVN. You know, so I don't know. We are going into Christmas season. We can't afford to go through what happened in February, March.
So this is season, just as you said. So marketers are selling their market, are holding their cash rather than depositing it. They need their money, so you don't want to go and be begging bank like last year, give me money. And you know, because the news had come, people just decided, let me not take my money, let banks sort themselves out.
I think you see the central bank has to go and find out who sells new money
Those people
at these parties. They have them in abundance, and they sell 50,000. They will sell it for 70,000. Imagine.
That's ridiculous.
And it has to be coming from central.
Of course.
bank.
And I'm not even feeling it, but people are actually feeling it. Some of the customers that Son took witness for in Lagos State here went to the bank to collect 100,000 naira cash, and they were giving 40,000 naira.
Yeah.
They even paid me 20 naira.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, that's terrible. Okay, some good news, please. We need some good news. The
Yes.
Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has been named the most powerful woman in Africa.
We're celebrating. Yeah.
According to Forbes' 20th annual ranking released on Tuesday, the former Nigerian coordinating minister of the economy was ranked the 87th most powerful women in the world list. Forbes' list of the world's most powerful women is about women who have performed excellently in their various fields. Okonjo-Iweala in March 21 became the first woman to ever head the World Trade Organization. All the other African women who made the list, there were quite a number of them, but she definitely is the most powerful
Such a
woman.
nice woman. Very
Yeah.
humble.
Yeah.
I haven't had the pleasure of meeting
Why
her,
it's
but
seventh in the world? It's the World Trade Organization Center she's heading.
no, but there are other
understand
women
in
now.
Africa. No,
There are other women,
Anyway.
but I'm just so happy that she's number one in
Yeah,
Africa.
that's fantastic.
And, you know, the track record of service to Nigeria
How can
service.
number one in Africa
I'll be
be
number
87
87th.
It's where Africa is in the world.
Oh, people have started. Let me read it before you start getting controversial. According to Forbes' 20th annual ranking released, she's ranked 87th most powerful women in the world list. So there are lots of women in the world, billions of women. She's
There is
87th.
where we are talking. That's what we are talking.
Please
Because
move
she should be
on.
like the top 20.
Just so
How many women do you know? It's not just your small
That's
case area that you know.
all.
People.
No,
Let's see your case.
Point made already.
All
I
right.
know MD, Mama.
Can we just okay? Let's do Vanguard. Bombing error won't deter fight against terrorism. NJC case 11 new justices. We took that story. Controversy over ownership of Lagos shameful, says Bode George.
Beggy.
Government should discourage pegging naira to a currency. Pastor Chris Oyakilome sharing God's love through ministry. Let's see. Stop tax waivers. Concessions already granted to corporate entities. Senate tells federal government. Any story in Vanguard?
It's the Naira one that I have. So these experts in the financial sector has advised the federal government to stop pegging Naira to any currency. This also...
Maybe. The financial have been saying this for years and years.
They suggested mixed foreign exchange market regime across sub-regional markets as a factor mitigating the successful implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement in the country. Speaking at the 6th session of the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN, mandatory continuing professional development program in Lagos, the Professor Jane Andy says part of the 3 ways to also agree to manage our exchange rate is for every exporter should agree to accept payment in different currencies. We do not need to peg our Naira to any foreign currency. That it should be discouraged, and it can be done in Nigeria by using, if you're buying something in Germany, buy in the Dutch mark. If you're buying in Ghana, buy in the CD. If you're buying in Nigeria, buy in Naira.
It's a battle that would be...
Yes, let them
that's the solution.
Source those local currencies and strengthen them rather than focus on one special currency that we are also...
We say this for years.
Yes, and very soon we need to go there. But, you know, the US can hold us to ransom because they are doing transactions with us that we cannot deny them. I want to take the story of the Oni because, yes, the Oni visited Kuje prison. And they said he met with the former CBN governor twice. They said he first met with him around 12, and then 4 hours later, met with him again. He's one of the prominent leaders that I've met with him. And in the course of meeting with him, advocated for his release. But the good news is 5 people got released through Oni paying for their fines. There are many people in prisons in Nigeria who, some as little as 20,000, 100,000, having somebody to just pay those fines would have gotten them released. So these 5 people were able to get their fines paid by the Oni of Ife, and they were released immediately. He also promised to give more relief materials, provide funds to aid skill acquisition for them, and he reminded the people incarcerated that this is not the end of the world for them. They should take this as an opportunity to turn a new leaf. But
Okay,
he saw
is it not Ife is heading?
he's a young, vibrant. He's a young, vibrant.
We want our traditional leaders
to
So
be.
I just asked a question. You don't have to defend
There's
him.
flight.
Just tell me how you reach
their
there.
flights, their cars.
He did not
they-
use a dual whistle. He
He
flew
flew
normal.
to Nigerian
Neighbors are
Tribune.
watching you. Oh, no respect.
Let's find a story in the Nigerian Tribune.
Yeah, okay.
Procter & Gamble to dissolve ground operations in Nigeria, revert to import-only business model. Kaduna drone strike. Protesters storm National Assembly. PDP wants independent probe. FG to leverage Islamic finance to fund green projects. Stop tax waivers. Offer rebates. Senate committee asks federal government. Police arrest suspected ritualists over the death of a 100-level OAU student. And no money voted to renovate my residences by Jabia Miller.
Yeah,
So where did that
just
come
said
from?
That, they are spreading fake news that they earmarked money in the budget to renovate his residence, that he's staying in his own private house.
Who's lying?
That they didn't.
So he's not in the budget.
Said money was put for the Jordan Barracks, for the president's villa in Jordan Barracks, and the vice president in Lagos, not his own house.
Did you say Donald Barracks?
Yes.
Yes,
Really?
Yes, that barracks used to be the seat of power.
I know, I'm just saying, I haven't heard that word in a
Because
long
when it comes
time.
to Lagos, he has to be in
Okay, that's all we can take. I was going to take Procter & Gamble. You have the story?
Islamic Bank in.
Go ahead, please, go ahead.
Take the Procter &
So
Gamble.
the Minister
That's
for
interesting.
Finance. Okay. It's interesting. Take the Procter & Gamble.
Go ahead, Nima.
Okay, so the
You
Minister
have the
for
floor.
Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Wale Edu, said that they'll be looking at, Islamic financing to finance the green projects that they have around Nigeria. He said that they're looking to the production of electric vehicles and as part of their green project, and they're looking to Islamic financing, that is patronizing non-debt financing. Of course, there are no interest payment on, Islamic financing, and he says that these are the best option open to the government, and the administration is poised to leverage on Islamic financing for execution of infrastructure projects like he's currently doing with the Sukuk. Sukuk was used by the former Minister for Works to finance some roads across the country and some in Lagos as well.
So Procter & Gamble, an international company, they plan to resolve their on-ground operations in Nigeria
Factories
and
closing
turn
down.
the country into an import market. According to their head, it says Nigeria, they explain that it's getting increasingly difficult to do business in Nigeria as a dollar-denominated organization. And the macroeconomic reality in Nigeria is responsible for their strategic decision. According to their head, say the reality that arises in some of these markets is that it gets increasingly difficult to operate and create US dollar value. So when you think about places like Nigeria and Argentina, it's difficult for us to cooperate because of the macroeconomic environment. So they're struggling with the dollar issue we are having here. And
This
Now,
is
think
time
twice.
for Nigerian companies.
look within.
Yes.
Abi, let's look within.
Within.
It's the only way.
We have Nigerian alternatives.
Because they want to be importing it now.
Import, yes.
It's more expensive that way. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we'll move to our next sponsored segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.